so that we may bring you exclusive coverage of the NBA Finals.
It is neither right nor fair that Clyde Drexler's outstanding career should be judged on the next few games. But that's what it's coming to. Many call him the second greatest player in the game. But the doubters are chanting louder after Sunday night. And it is neither right nor fair, but the issue will be decided very soon. Clyde Drexler, of course, is not the first great player to meet this crossroad. Wilt Chamberlain heard all the whispers before finally winning an NBA championship in his 8th season in the league. Elvin Hayes didn't quiet his critics until a Bullets title came in his 10th year. Oscar Robertson was incomplete until his 11th season, when he and Kareem won the prize for Milwaukee. No one ever doubted Jerry West's greatness, especially in the clutch. But there was something missing from his NBA career until he carried the Lakers to victory in his 12th season. You may be sure that Clyde Drexler, nearing the age of 30, in his 9th year in the league, can recite this list. You may also be sure that he's familiar with another group, Elgin Baylor, Pistol Pete Maravich, Bob Lanier, Dave Bing, all-time NBA performers who left the game without a championship. In a team game where so much escapes the control of any single player, Clyde Drexler knows that the expectations weighing on him are neither right nor fair, but they are real and they are obsessive. He must have noted the enormous relief last year as Michael Jordan rescued his career from these demands. And now, with Portland trailing 2-1, Clyde Drexler must surely know that he's playing for his own place in NBA history. It is neither right nor fair, but it is fact, and the time is now.
Is the NBA on NBC. The 1992 NBA Finals. Tonight, Game 4 between the Chicago Bulls and the Portland Trail Blazers.
12,884 Blazer Maniacs are filing into Memorial Coliseum. For 3 years, they've been waiting for this team to fulfill its promise to deliver a second NBA title to this city. A win tonight, and they've got a shot at it. But a loss would make it a virtual impossibility. No team has ever recovered from a 3-1 deficit to win the NBA Finals. So much is riding on the performance of Clyde Drexler, averaging 24.7 in this series, but held to just 43% shooting by Chicago's disruptive defense. Relaxed and smiling before the game, but he knows what his team and his city expect of him. Hello, everyone. I'm Bob Costas, and welcome again to Portland for Game 4. We're wondering tonight if a couple of statistical oddities will be extended, and if they are, it's bad news for the Blazers. In a league where home court advantage is said to mean so much, when in fact it's the thing you play the entire regular season in order to secure in the playoffs, the road team has now won 12 of the last 15 games in the finals. And the Western Conference champs have now lost 9 straight home games, dating back to the Laker defeats against the Pistons at the Forum in 1989. Now, speaking of the Lakers, Magic Johnson rejoins us tonight after a 2-game absence following the birth of his son. Consider Magic's plight, leaving the side of mother and newborn child in order to spend quality time with Marv and the Czar. How genuinely troubling. Marvelous?
Yes, Bob, and we will try to make Magic feel right at home. The Czar will cry every 15 minutes. For Portland Magic, it has been over these first 3 games a subpar
In this series, in the finals, only 96 points and well up under 50% shooting. And 3 reasons for that is Drexler, Kersey, and Robinson, 49, 52, 47 in the first 3 rounds, but in the finals, only 43, 41, and 33. They must shoot better from the outside if they're going to beat the Chicago Bulls team tonight.
And how do you explain Terry Porter managing only 7 shots in Game 3 on Sunday?
2 reasons for that. One is Portland needs to run more. Terry Porter scores most of his points in transition. Number 2, pick and roll play. Terry Porter's favorite play, Chicago is double teaming him, making him pass it. That's the reason he's struggling.
One other aspect, Mike, for the most part, the Chicago Bulls have succeeded in forcing the Blazers to play their style, their tempo.
Well, no question, tempo is the password, and the team that's controlled it best to this point has been the winner. Portland wants a wide open style of play, fueled by their aggressive defense, and they have great finishes at the end. And even though at times Chicago appears like they want a fast break back, they're just pretending. What the Bulls want is a patient half-court attack. A lot of ball movement, a lot of body movement. Play unselfishly, share the basketball. In the end, wind up with a very high percentage shot. And this type of patient offense has frustrated the Trailblazer defense. The Trailblazers in the half court have wound up taking 1 dribble, 1 quick shot, a low percentage shot at that, and it has not been effective. So the tempo has been controlled by the Bulls. They lead 2-1.
All right, you can hear the crowd reacting as the lineups are about to be introduced. Coming up, Game 4 of the NBA Final, Clyde Drexler and his Trailblazers seek to tie the series at 2.
On NBC is brought to you by the Coors family of fine beers. Original Coors, Coors Light, and Coors Extra Gold. Golden, Colorado since 1873. By Chevrolet, the cars and trucks more people depend on. And by AT&T, the right choice.
A beautiful 75-degree day in the City of Roses, Portland, Oregon. As we check out the starting lineup, John Paxson and Michael Jordan at the guards for the Chicago Bulls, Horace Grant and Scottie Pippen up front. The center, Bill Cartwright. Starting lineup for the Bulls, coached by Phil Jackson, one of only 9 men to win NBA titles as a player, and head coach Terry Porter and Clyde Drexler open in the backcourt for the Trailblazers, Buck Williams and Jerome Kersey on the front line. The center, Kevin Duckworth. The coach of the Portland Trailblazers, Rick Alleman, who was a 7th-round draft pick out of Loyola of California back in '68, taken by this Portland franchise. Now let's go to a man who hails from the City of Roses and has been doing a nice job for the Chamber of Commerce during the course of the week. Here's Portland's own Ahmad Rashad.
Thank you, Marv. Have I mentioned what a wonderful city Portland is? That's another thing. I visited the Trailblazer locker room before the game. Very loose atmosphere. I talked to Clyde Drexler, who a lot of pressure will be on tonight. He said not only did he feel optimistic, but very confident. On the other end, Michael Jordan, who had a badly bruised left heel, is wearing a little bit of a pad. I asked him how it felt. He said it has to feel good because it is game time. Marv?
Thank you, Ahmad. Yes, Michael Jordan bothered by the heel problem. Also Sunday night in Game 3, took a knee in his thigh, came up hobbling. Darrell Garrison, Dick Bavetta, Joe Crawford are the officials. And Terry Porter moves it across against John Paxson. And let's see how they look to involve Porter right at the start to get him going. Duckworth putting the move on Cartwright. And it's last touch. Let's see, the officials conferring last touch by Portland, so it will be Chicago ball. And Scottie Pippen moves across. Horace Grant, bothered by Buck Williams. Michael Jordan, played by Clyde Drexler. Jordan with a tough angle jumper. And rebounded by Porter. Drexler being guarded by Jordan. Kersey Once again, it will be Chicago possession.
Well, the idea is right at both ends of the floor for Portland thus far. Very aggressive at the defensive end. They're up in passing lanes, challenging. At the offensive end, put it on the floor, take it to the basket, try to create.
Cartwright had a notion to shoot, but gave it up. Jordan. Beautiful shot by Jordan, able to squeeze inside and go glass.
Boy, he caught the big man, Duckworth, coming at him, and he just went right inside of him and Clyde Drexler.
And a traveling violation is called.
Jordan was waiting for the screen to come over by Cartwright, trying to force the switch, and then he knows that he's either got Cartwright rolling or, that time, a good look at the front of the rim.
I know it's early, but right at the start, both clubs look to be sharp in contrast to what we saw on Sunday night. Both teams looking tired, and this building was very hot and humid.
And also, Marv, too, that both teams are starting off in a different way. They're going inside, and that's why you probably see a better game tonight. Well rested, as well as now picking and choosing when to run and when not to run.
Foul committed by Duckworth, sending Cartwright to the line.
And it's exactly why Chicago likes to open up early and get the ball down low inside to Bill Cartwright to try and put fouls on the opposing center. It's been a problem for Duckworth the entire season. He has spent a lot of early minutes in ball games sitting down. They need him on the floor. In the one win that Portland has thus far, he has played over 40 minutes.
Bill Cartwright had huge problems at the foul line earlier in the playoffs, but he has come on as of late. The Bulls 3 and the Blazers nothing. And Kersey drew the foul. It's called on Jordan, so Michael went for the fake and picks up the early foul.
You know, many times this would not be called a foul on Michael, but they got him in the air. The contact took place. They've got to call it early. He's out exposed. Easy to see by everyone in the building. Got to make that call.
And Duckworth blocked by Cartwright.
Well, this is a different Portland team right here. They're starting off inside. Here it is. Duckworth is taking it to Cartwright. Cartwright got a foul on Duckworth. Last time down, this time it's Duckworth getting a foul on Cartwright. So we're 1-1. We're even right now in foul.
They isolate Duckworth on Cartwright. Grant came over to help. Kersey, his shot has been way off. Jordan pulls up for three. Yes! Michael Jordan put on the three-point exhibition back in game 1 of this series. He tied an NBA Finals record by hitting 6. Since then, he has not been able to hit from three-point land. The Bulls with a 6-0 lead. Jordan faking the three-pointer.
And there's that fake fast break by Chicago again.
And the end result, the layup for Pippen, and Rick Adelman needs a timeout.
20-second timeout.
It is a 20-second timeout.
But something that Michael Jordan had done so well in game 1, then in games 2 and 3, not so well. Pulls out of his pocket early here in game number 4. Jordan with the three-pointer in transition. If the defense collapses too far back, Michael will pull up and take it if he gets a good look and gets his feet set.
Well, game 4 of this best of 7 opening up for the Chicago Bulls, who jump in front 8-0. Looking back, recapping the series, game 1, it was Jordan with that three-point display, leading Chicago to the blowout. The Bulls blew a 10-point lead in the final 4.5 minutes of game 2 in Chicago last Friday night. Danny Ainge triggering that comeback, and Portland won in overtime. Game 3 here on Sunday, not a well-played game. Horace Grant with that balanced all-around game, and Chicago was able to win by 10 for the 2-1 lead. And this crowd looking to urge the Trailblazers on. They're down 8-0 right at the start. Duckworth Rebounded by Jordan.
And just the full court pressure accomplished what Chicago wanted. They got a hurried shot. They're back on the attack again.
Jordan was stopped. Drexler putting the move on. Drexler was looking for the contact. Pippen with the feed for Jordan. And the foul is called. It's on Kersey.
See the difference between the two teams is Chicago will make the extra pass. Here it is, a steal, good team defense. Drexler is going to break off, but he has no lane here. Watch the defense by Chicago, giving really no lane. He has to make a tough shot. But really, the difference between the two teams is the 4 times that Chicago has come down, they made the extra pass to get the basket. Portland had a chance to make 2 passes. Duckworth should have passed that ball back to Drexler. He could have went in for a dunk. He took the jump shot, missed. Back on the other end for an easy shot for Michael. And that's the difference between the two teams. They're making an extra pass. Chicago, Portland is not.
Talking to Michael Jordan prior to the game, I asked would he try to come out quickly or would he wait to see what develops. He said he wanted to see how his heel feels and then he would make the determination. Well, he's come out fast, hitting that three-pointer. Drexler. So the Blazers go 3.5 minutes without a score. Chicago now leads 10-2. Jordan had missed his last 6 from three-point range before hitting a moment ago. Jordan had it knocked away, and Portland gets it back.
Chicago said they only want one more practice. So if they only want one more practice, meaning they don't have to win this game, Michael Jordan, you knew had to come out early and have a quick start.
And the foul called on Grant. So that's the motivation. Stay away from the practice sessions.
That's right. Well, you figure if they win tonight, they only got one more practice, they feel, which will be tomorrow, and try to close them out on Friday. And that's their thinking. They want only one more practice. Win tonight, close it out on Friday. Let's go home, and the season is over.
Let's go back earlier in the beginning of the game when Magic mentioned the fact that this would be a much better game than the last one because of the rest, the time they've had to prepare. What you've seen so far are a number of fouls from guys who are edgy, guys who are hyper right now. Up in the air on the slightest little fake, coming down on top of people. That's because they've had a couple days off. They've wanted to get this game underway. You see them very anxious in the beginning here.
Bulls 10, the Blazers 3. Jordan for Cartwright. And Pippen able to get to it. Scottie Pippen, who comes off an excellent all-around game, provides a 12-3 advantage.
Defensive rebounding, one of the keys for Portland to get their transition game going. You've got to give Chicago only one shot. They're shooting over 50% in this series as a team.
Kersey, yes. Duckworth and Cartwright got entangled. They both went down. Cartwright was complaining one of the foul called on Duckworth. Bulls lead 12-5. Well, Jordan is looking for the three-pointer once again tonight. Cartwright off a pick and roll. Yes.
If you're Coach Phil Jackson, you got to love this tempo so far. It's a good tempo for Chicago. Not a lot of running and gunning, and they're handling the Portland Trail Blazers just at their speed.
Williams strip. 3-on-2. Pippen with the change of pace. And he's given the Bulls a 16-5 lead.
And the key right there is the tempo changed because Chicago saw it had the numbers. 3-2, they take advantage of the fast break instead of pulling out. 3 against 3, they pull it back out.
Portland taking another timeout. 6:40 remaining in the first. Well, in the opening minutes, we saw Michael Jordan going to the three-point field goal. He had very little success since his opening game exploits, and we talked about that earlier.
I've kind of put that in a closet. You know, I really hadn't tried to live on that three-point shot. I mean, initially, you know, it was a shot that they were giving me, and I took it. I don't think that they are aware of my outside shot, but I don't think I have to make that known anymore, and I'm certainly not trying to look for threes, and it really takes me out of my game, my normal game.
Well, you know what's happening is he sees that the opening, they're giving him a three-point, and he's taking it. Now, Michael is not a three-point shooter, but if the opportunity is there, just like myself, if the opportunity is there, I can take it and knock it down if my feet are set. Same with him.
Duckworth getting inside. He blew the layup. And again, that time it was deflected. 16-5 Chicago. And Jordan able to penetrate. Sets up Grant. Bulls 18 and the Blazers 5.
And Grant was responsible for that whole series at the defensive end, challenging the shots, forcing Duckworth to miss. At the offensive end, on the glass, Grant, terrific series so far.
And a terrific alley-oop pass from Kersey to Drexler.
Reason being, on that time, Porter set an excellent back pick on Michael Jordan to get Drexler free.
Terry Porter yet to take a shot in this first quarter. Drexler with a wild three-pointer.
See the difference between Michael Jordan's three and Clyde's three. Michael Jordan was on Clyde Drexler. He shouldn't have taken that shot. Michael Jordan took his three with nobody there.
Actually, we've seen it through this series, and of course during the season with Portland, a club that you faced on so many occasions. Nice play. Drexler got a piece of that drive by Jordan. Clyde Drexler, no question, is one of the top players in the league. Here's Kersey wide open, but it won't count. Foul away from the ball. Foul committed on by Buck Williams. But would you explain the shot selection of Clyde Drexler? From time to time, he will just hoist shots from all angles. The same can be said of Terry Porter.
Well, what's happening, if you've been doing it during the season and the first 3 rounds of the playoff, you continue to do it. And they have continued to play the same way they have been playing in the first 3 rounds, and that's taking shots that normally other people and other teams would not take.
And Joe Crawford with the pushing indication on Pippen. Here's Danny Ainge checking in along with Cliff Robinson. Danny Ainge did not shoot well on Sunday, but had the excellent game of that overtime victory Friday night in Chicago. Cliff Robinson has been in a struggle. This time he goes down low and guns it back out. Robinson only 2 for 11 Sunday night. Drexler. Bulls 20 and the Trailblazers 9. Here's Jordan. Porter. And Ainge to the backcourt. Williams up front with Drexler and Robinson. And the pass off the mark.
Sometimes, even with a 6'10" guy flying at you, you wind up getting just enough look, and Grant challenged it, but that time, bottom of the net for Drexler.
But that time, too, he had a lot of airspace in between him and Grant, and that was a good shot for Clyde.
Cliff Robinson banging with Bill Cartwright. Robinson felt that Cartwright pushed back at him and should have been called for the foul, but it's on Robinson.
In fact, in game number 3, this exact same thing happened. As soon as Robinson wound up coming in the game and he played Cartwright, they went to Cartwright, the Bulls, and there was a foul immediately by Robinson. If it happens too often, you've got to switch Buck Williams over to play Cartwright, a more physical player.
Pippen, yes. Scottie Pippen off to the fast start. He has 8 points. He's hit on 4 out of 5. The Bulls 22. The Blazers 9.
That's a mismatch for Danny Ainge to be playing Scottie Pippen. He's going to take him down low every time.
Robinson to the left hand. And Pippen trying to save. Stepped out of bounds. I see Cliff Robinson is back to the red headband. He did shed the headband looking for better fortune as he was struggling with the shot the other night.
We showed moments ago the points off turnovers that have taken place so far in this game, and the team that is committed the fewest turnovers has won each game in the first 3 thus far.
Paxson for three. Terry Porter yet to take a shot. Robinson, yes. So that has to feel good for Cliff Robinson, who has not been able to hit the outside shot. The Bulls 22, the Blazers 11. Ames with the steal. Here's Drexler for Robinson. And the Bulls want to talk it over.
Taking out Big Dave, our cameraman, with the extra effort.
And Robinson able to put it home.
Waited for the acclaim. Waited to be an all-star. Waited to return to the NBA Finals. Now Clyde Drexler's patience has paid off as he's earned the ultimate honor, U.S. Olympian. Clyde Drexler, one to watch this summer on NBC.
Just before the timeout, Danny Ainge hustling after the loose ball and winds up going into Dave Hagan. Our cameraman was at a trip by Big Dave, trying to take Danny out of the action. Some of the hazards of being on the sideline.
Dave took the hit well. Very physical play.
Great bounce back ability by the big guy. Turnovers, the key factor so far. Portland with an inability to protect the basketball. The team that scores points off turnovers clearly has a decisive edge in this series so far.
Well, usually what it does is it translates into a slam dunk or easy layup for either team. And that's why you see there today off turnover 13-3 favoring the Bulls so far.
Coming up on 2 minutes remaining in this opening quarter, the Chicago Bulls 22, Portland Trailblazers 13.
What about the theory, Magic, of teams that get out to big, quick leads early in NBA games? Not always the best thing that happens.
Well, that's true. But if you're on the road, I know with myself, I like to get out to early leads to take the crowd out of it.
Robinson missed the tip, but Williams right there. And the Blazers have come back. They are now down by 7. Jordan Battling, and he will go to the foul line. Portland with 6 unanswered to move within 7. Chicago has led by as many as 13. They led 18-5. They led 20-7. They were up 22-9. Cliff Robinson called for his second foul. Cliff Robinson's mother flew into Portland for the game on Sunday. That's usually a good omen. Cliff said he always plays better when his mom is in the stands, so Cliff went out with his mother watching and hit one of his first 9 and 2 for 11, a rough day.
The only difference is probably when Mom was coming to see him play against those other teams, he could get off, but now he's playing against the Bulls, and the competition is a lot better, and you're talking about Scottie Pippen instead of probably playing against somebody like Sacramento or somebody.
Oh, watch it.
Well, he understands.
Wasn't there some interest on your part in getting involved in the ownership of the Sacramento Kings?
And still is.
Turning on them now. Wait a second, Mike.
No. Just speaking reality.
I see. Okay. Illegal defense call for the first time. Scott Williams has checked in. Williams replacing Cartwright, and he's guarding Williams. Buck Williams being guarded by Scott Williams. And B.J. Armstrong on the floor for the first time, replacing John Paxson. 1:05 to go in this opening quarter. Grant with the post-up move. Darryl Garrison checking it out with Joey Crawford.
Excellent call.
what's interesting as they fight for possession there in the tip by Buck, both players who are shooting over 60%, Buck at one end and Grant at the other end, both wind up missing 4-footers, which they normally make.
Here's Pippen. P.J. Armstrong able to get back as Porter hits the three. Terry Porter launching his first field goal. Took a while. Went to the final minute of the first quarter. Remember, Porter got only 7 shots from the field in game 3. Michael Jordan is now 2 of 7 from the floor. Here's Porter again for 3. And Pippen gets to it. Jordan with the save and the stop. Down to 11 seconds to go, first quarter. The Bulls lead 26-18. Drexler for 3. So that is the end of the first quarter. The Bulls 26 and the Blazers 18. Michael.
The quick look down the floor. Michael by himself in that right foot, almost on the out-of-bounds line.
So Michael Jordan with 11 points to lead the Bulls.
Back here at Portland Memorial Coliseum, I'm Ahmad Rashad, joined now by Maxine Duckworth, Kevin's mother. Now, Kevin has so many weird pets. Where did he come up with this weird pet thing?
Kevin has always been a lover of animals, wild, tame, anything. He loves them. And one time, Kevin had some bats in the house in a box, and I wasn't aware of it. Bats, pigeons, pigs, anything. I don't even know where he got them from.
Well, you know what he's got now? He's got 4 tanks of fish, 3 dogs, a lizard, another iguana, and he also has a goose named Garfield.
Yes, and I was playing with him today. His monitor is a lizard, and his name is Homie.
All right, speaking of Homie, let's go back to my homie, Marv Albert.
Okay. Thank you, Ahmad. I think Kevin will be a lovely guy to room with, don't you say?
I don't think so. That was a beautiful pass right there. Backdoor play. Went into Pippen, and they double teaming on Duckworth, and Williams went backdoor, and beautiful pass from Pippen.
Chicago opened up by reeling off the first 10 points of the game. Robinson has regained the touch. That's his second from outside. Bulls lead 28-20. Bulls have led by as many as 13. They shot 50% in the first quarter, 52% to this point. Portland 8 for 23 from the field in the first. Scottie Pippen with a wide open shot. He's 5 for 7. He has 10 points.
You think of how many times Chicago takes a shot with both feet on the ground set versus how many times Portland's taking them like on the run, planting just to get away from somebody. A few moments ago, after the post-up double team on Pippen, just moving out the ball, and Chicago plays so unselfishly. They give it up to open teammates, and it has been such a factor. The assist ratio in this particular series, 32 plus versus 18 plus. When you pass the ball and get high percentage shots, you get scores, then you get a lot of assists.
The reason they get those open jump shots is penetration. The last time BJ penetrated to the middle, kicked it back out to Pippen for the wide open standstill jump shot.
Chicago foul was called on Scott Williams. Bill Cartwright has returned. Williams remains. And Scottie Pippen picks up his second.
You go back to Magic's playing days and some of the incredible numbers he had as a point guard with assists, and I'm sure Magic will be the first to admit that if those guys he's passing the ball to are not making shots on given nights, you just don't wind up getting a lot of assists. It helps to have teammates that knock them down.
Exactly, and know you have to know where everybody's going to be at that given time. You know, I used to know Byron Scott loved the corner, so I penetrate and look for him in the corner.
Duckworth getting inside and drew the foul. Nice setup for Kevin Duckworth.
Well, they ran a triangle offense that time. They passed it from the wing to the center of the court to Porter, and then triangle down to Cartwright for 2. Duckworth for 2.
It's all angles, knowing where to get the ball to so that eventually you can make the right pass, and angles certainly help to keep it away from the defensive player. Slowly the Trailblazers have chipped away after being down 10-zip, 16-5, 18-7. Now they're right back 30-23, slowly getting back into the basketball game.
Cartwright goes to the jumper. Porter met by Jordan. Here's Robinson. Try to finger roll it off a difficult angle. Cliff Livingston just came on. And Ames gets to it. Ames and Porter in the backcourt. Here's Robinson giving it up to Kersey. Ames for 3. Trailblazers are within 4. Armstrong with the step. Yes. Nice play by B.J. Armstrong. Off the dribble and hitting the pull-up, giving Chicago a 6-point edge. Robinson forced into the bad shot by Williams. Ames and Jordan starts back. 2 Blazers get back.
You know, Cliff Robinson trying to give the official clapping his hand saying, come on, make the call. That's a terrible shot. You're not going to get calls on shots that are not good shots. Officials understand the game.
He forced that jump shot. He forced the contact. That's why he didn't get a call.
Foul committed by Ames, and a timeout has been taken.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Nissan, built for the human race. By Coca-Cola Classic, the official soft drink of the NBA. And by the people at Nike, who encourage you to just do it.
Well, in his 9th season, perennial All-Star Clyde Drexler is getting another chance at winning an NBA championship. We asked Clyde, how much does this second chance at a title mean to him?
When you throw the ball up in October in the exhibition season, this is what you're thinking about. And once you've made it, you got to do the best you can. And for us, getting here the second time is very special, but also we want to win it. And so there's nothing sweeter than the smell of success. And that's what we're searching for now.
Well, you know, it's difficult, first of all, just getting to the finals, not alone winning one. I mean, that's so hard. And then what Michael is trying to do, win back-to-back, that's even more difficulty. So Clyde really wants to win. I mean, he's worked hard to get this team back here two times, in the last 3 years. And, you know, this is his chance right now. He may never get another chance.
Magic earlier in the playoffs when the Bulls were struggling, having problems against clubs like the Knicks and the Cavaliers. Michael Jordan said it, Scottie Pippen said it, others said that they don't seem to have the same hunger as they did a year ago. And some people criticized that. Did you guys with the Lakers ever lack the hunger second, third time around?
Well, I don't, you know what, I think the words were crossed up. They had the hunger, but what happens is they didn't know it was going to be this hard. That's what it was. They didn't know that New York was going to play them as tough as they did, and then Cleveland come out and give them the same sort of difficulty. You know, maybe they thought it was going to be a little easier.
Enos Watley has come on for the first time. Clyde Drexler back on the floor. Duckworth battling for position with Cartwright. 4 minutes gone by in the second. The Bulls by 8. They've led by as many as 13. Here's Robinson. Yes. Robinson with his 4th field goal. So he has turned it around first half following that 2 for 11 on Sunday night.
You know, after the fatigue factor that we saw in game number 3 where Michael Jordan was very tired early in the game, he has now played over 16 straight minutes for Chicago to start this game out.
Armstrong with the save. Here's Scott Williams. Offensive foul. And for Williams, that's his 3rd personal.
That might have been the toughest play in terms of Scott Williams should have passed that ball to Cartwright. He was wide open on the other side of the basket. Instead, he takes it in, good position, charging foul.
And that's what happens when you have guys doing things they're not used to doing. Scott Williams is not used to putting it on the floor from 16 feet, trying to create off the dribble. He's an interior passer, but not on the move off the dribble.
B.J. Armstrong called for the foul. The Bulls 34, the Trailblazers 28. Chicago with a front line of Cartwright, Livingston, and Grant. Grant replacing Williams. Drexler around Livingston. Clyde Drexler with a sensational drive.
That time, Brennan settling for the outside shot. Clyde put it on the floor, took it to the basket, got a very high percentage shot.
Jordan, yes. Michael Jordan has 15 points. The Bulls 36, and the Blazers 30. Just under 7 remaining first half. Robinson. Watley able to rescue. Robinson with possession. Fouled by Grant.
You can settle for jump shots, but they're not going to be high percentage shots. Or you can put it on the floor and try to get 12 inches from the rim, and you're usually going to score. Michael Jordan always trying to improve his shot position, the ability to put it on the floor and create. Michael Jordan being able to take the basketball where he wants to. That first step is the one where he loses Drexler, and then Clyde never goes up to challenge the shot at the end. You got to get a hand in the shooter's face, or at least try and get a piece of that basketball.
And two, Mike, I thought that Enos Watley should have came over and made Michael Jordan kick it to PJ instead of letting Michael just split between them and take that easy shot.
It's one of the things they said after game 1. We've got to give help on Jordan. You can't expect Clyde to play him by himself.
Nobody can.
That foul a moment ago committed by Horace Grant put Chicago over the limit. Cliff Robinson was not a good free throw shooter. To the line for the first time, but Cliff has had a good shooting game from the field. He's 4 for 8 points. He's had his problems in this final series. That 7 for 14 impressive, but much of it was done during garbage time. The game was out of reach. I'll explain that to you, Czar.
And now in this series, from the foul line, Cliff Robinson 6 for 14 from the free throw line.
Coming up on the Prudential halftime report, Bob Costas, Quinn Buckner will be joined live on the set by former Trailblazer Bill Walton. Walton, of course, the man in the middle here in Portland when the Blazers won their only title back in 1977. Shot clock at 2. And it's a 24-second violation. Also coming up at halftime, we'll see the other Michael Jackson, joined by Michael Jordan for his latest music video entitled Jam. We'll bring you a sneak preview that's coming up on the Prudential halftime report.
In that last series, Magic had just talked about getting some help on Michael from Enos Watley. Well, that time Enos helped, and as soon as he turned his head, B.J. Armstrong ran to the deep corner. That's where Michael found him with the open pass.
The double up on Drexler, and Grant was able to help out on Duckworth for the recovery. Here's Duckworth. Yes. Magic Kevin Duckworth hit that shot, but he's the only man you ever see on a pick and roll, and he ends up taking a shot from the outside.
The only center, big man that I know that always likes to fade to the corner instead of go all the way to the hoop and dunk it or lay it in. And that's why Chicago's defense can come over because they'll let him have that jump shot. They don't want to give it to him, but they'll let him have that, settle for that more than a layup or a dunk.
Nicely done. Robinson finding Drexler. 10 points for Drexler. Bulls with a 38-34 lead. And it's a blocking foul charge to Buck Williams. For Buck, his second.
Second team foul.
Underneath the basket, Michael lost sight of where Drexler was just for a split second, and with his size and jumping ability, you can throw it up over the top. Now, whether or not it's a block or a charge, no question, Buck Williams never got there in time as Jordan tried to come off the screen.
Second team foul committed by Portland. Cliff Robinson. Here's the cheers as he sits down. Michael Jordan departs with 15. Robinson leaves with 8.
Right here, you see that Edelman decided not to take Drexler out with Jordan on the bench. Looks like Clyde's going to play a lot of minutes tonight because it's a must-win situation for them.
Livingston. Oh, what a play by Horace Grant, keeping it alive and then getting position to hit high off the glass.
Well, for Chicago right now, look at the bodies you have that you got to worry about on the glass. You have Pippen out there, you have Livingston, Grant, and Cartwright.
Here's Porter. That's 2-point range. Well, Terry Porter with his second field goal. And the Bulls lead by 4. Horace Grant continues his excellent play. He had the strong all-around game on Sunday night. It's been solid right throughout this series. Blazers have hit their last 5, make it 6. The Bulls by 4. Now Chicago got off to that blistering start. They led 10-0. They led 18-5. They led 20-7. And Portland has been able to come right back. That foul was called on Drexler.
The live body of the Chicago Bulls, keeping it alive under the basket. Grant with the offensive rebound, and then when you give it to him the set offense and he's only 3 or 4 feet from the basket, he's going to convert that way. No question why he shoots over 60% or high 50s for the entire season, because of his shot selection, where he gets the basketball. It's a lot of hard work.
Livingston posting up on Kersey. Portland on the run. Drexler whipping by Pippen, had too much on it. Pippen. And it will be Portland ball.
Well, here comes Clyde again. Now watch Scottie Pippen make this move like he's going to come over and block, but he got right out the way and made Clyde go off balance. An excellent defensive move by Scottie Pippen.
Portland on fire in the second quarter. They have hit 9 of 14 after the 4 shooting first quarter. Drexler tripped by Pippen. And that's number 3 on Pippen.
The quick move, first step by Drexler, a long one, and then Pippen knows he's beat, so tries to reach from behind to get the flick.
Michael Jordan returns. Scottie Pippen sitting down with 10 points, 3 assists. Clyde Drexler to the line for the first time, and he's 28 for 29 from the line in this series. Well, he had hit 28 in a row.
That's what usually happens when you say good things about somebody at the free throw line. They usually miss them. But Clyde has been getting the majority of his points at the free throw line in this series.
Which tells us that he really hasn't been his usual offensive presence.
Exactly. Michael's been doing an excellent job on him defensively. And he's had to be getting his point at the free throw line.
We're approaching 3 minutes to go. First half. Cartwright showing the nice touch. That's his 4th field goal. 9 points for Bill Cartwright. The Bulls 44 and the Blazers 39. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Magic Johnson, Ahmad Rashad from Portland. And the ball goes back to the Bulls, but first a timeout taken by Phil Jackson. 2:53 left in the second quarter. Well, the Bulls have a 5-point lead. All the discussion, or much of it after game number 3, revolved around the fact that Terry Porter managed only 7 shots. He's had only 3 shots here in the first half, although he's hit 2, so Terry's still not getting into the offense.
It's something they put in yesterday. They brought out the old 1 set, and it's designed so that Terry Porter can run off this man, come down around a double, anything to free up Porter for more shots. At this point, only 3 attempts in the first half. Another point of emphasis yesterday in practice was to screen people. They spent a lot of time doing a simple thing like setting good screens. You could see the Trailblazers come out and be more aggressive in putting their bodies on defensive players. If you don't screen defensive players, you're not going to get your shooters open.
Good defensive sequence here by Portland. Dick Bavetta waves it off. And he's called a foul on the Trailblazers. That's number 2 on Drexler. Getting back to the subject of Porter, look at the foul committed by Drexler. At least he has not forced the shots.
And it was a big area of concern going into the game because you had Porter only getting 7 shots. He was concerned. You had Robinson going 2 for 11. You had Kersey shooting the ball bad. Everybody can't try to get off throwing at the same time. It doesn't work that way.
Kersey knocked it away. Livingston recovering. Shot clock down to 3. That's a 3-point attempt. Here's Kersey. We have seen very little of Jerome Kersey getting to the open floor.
Well, see, this is what Portland needs more of, transition points. Michael Jordan takes a 3-point, a long shot. They can run off a long shot, long misses.
Duckworth with the rebound. Blazers down by only 3. Here's Buck Williams. And Drexler with the putback. He's brought Portland within 1.
This is the helter-skelter, wide-open style of play that is Blazer basketball. This is where they flourish. This is how they're able to play best. You get them slowed down, you make them play half court, it is not to their advantage.
Shot clock at 5. Down to 2. Here's Jordan. At the 24-second buzzer, Michael Jordan with his 5th field goal. He has 17 points in all. The Bulls lead by 3.
2 straight possessions for Chicago. Last time with 2 seconds on the 24, Jordan shot a 3 and missed. That time with under 1 remaining, Jordan got the shot off and made it. They're using the clock, trying to be patient.
Here's Drexler. The Chicago lead is 1. They were up by as many as 13. Time runs down in this first half. The Portland defense has stepped up the last 3 possessions. Jordan, 19 points. The Bulls, 48. The Blazers, 45.
But Portland is coming out higher and challenging the Chicago Bull players, and that's why their defense is really taking over in these last, I say, 2 minutes, because they're forcing them to run the clock down and taking tough shots.
And I would say they should be pretty happy with where they are, considering how the game started out.
Drexler finding Williams. Good play by Grant, coming over to get a piece of it.
You have to admire the play of Grant. There are no easy layups against Chicago. He's there, he's going to challenge, try to block or intimidate on every shot. It's amazing how few times he's called for a foul.
And you hear the reaction from the crowd, looking for the foul call as time ran out in this first half. So the Chicago Bulls with a 3-point lead. Michael Jordan, 19 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Clyde Drexler, the high man for the Trailblazers, with 15. Portland with a red-hot second quarter, 12 for 19, 63% to come from a 13-point deficit. Bob and Quinn coming up in a moment.
This is the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the companies of the Prudential. In a changing world, one thing remains rock solid: the Prudential.
Halftime at Memorial Coliseum in Portland. The Bulls, after leading 22-9 at one point, see the Blazers come back to within 3 at 48-45. Bob Costas with the Prudential Halftime Report. This, of course, is Quinn Buckner. The 1992 Portland Trailblazers are trying to become the second team in franchise history to win an NBA title. The first was the 77 team, coached by Jack Ramsey and led by Big Red Bill Walton. This might be footage from the finals. They played the 76ers in the finals, and there's Dr. J's shot being swatted away by Walton into the hands of Maurice Lucas. And here is Bill Walton joining us. How would you compare your team in 77 to the Portland Trailblazers of the last couple of years? Which is the better club?
Oh, of course we're a lot better, Bob. My goodness gracious, we had Quinn, we'd be even better. But that 77 team was really a fine basketball team. Not as powerful as this current Blazer team, but I think more speed in the backcourt, a much better passing team, and much better in the set offense, which is what you have to have if you're going to be able to win a championship.
In that backcourt, lightning fast, Johnny Davis, Lionel Hollins, Dave Twardzik over from the ABA. That team was celebrated for its resourcefulness and basketball intelligence. How much credence do you put in the stories about this Blazer team being athletic, but not especially bright on the court?
This is a very bright Trailblazer team. I think their biggest problem is their style. They play a style where they make basically all their plays individually, one-on-one, off the dribble. I don't think you can win championship-level basketball games with that kind of style. The Chicago Bulls didn't win when Michael Jordan played that type of style. He changed his style, emulating the Magic Johnsons, the Larry Birds, the Isaiah Thomas. They've got their championship. I think they're heading for their second.
When you look at the Trailblazers, Bill, it looks to me as though when Chicago shuts off a passing lane and forces you to the second and third option, that Portland doesn't do a very good job in reacting to whatever the defense does. What do you think about that?
I agree with that. This is a team that is the second best team in the NBA without question. But because of the way they play, because of their lack of ability to see guys or their lack of desire or willingness to make that extra pass and to help their teammates set them up for the easy, wide open plays, I really don't see this team being able to conquer the Bulls.
What style of play do you think is better suited for what they have on their team?
For the type of players that they have, they're playing the correct style. I just don't think that they have the type of player, that great leader like Magic Johnson, like Larry Bird, who we both have the opportunity to play with, like Isaiah Thomas, and now Michael Jordan, who is controlling this series beautifully.
You played on some of the all-time great collegiate teams for Wooden at UCLA. You played on a memorable Blazer team here in 77. The 86 Celtics, where you were a reserve and made an important contribution, is regarded as one of the greatest single-season teams in NBA history. If the Bulls win back-to-back, do they rank on the list of great teams of all time?
Basketball is a unique game, Bob, in that one player can do so much. Michael Jordan is a phenomenal basketball player, the best conditioned athlete in the world. Fundamentally, he's the best basketball player in the world. Forget his physical assets. I think that when he's on his game and when they're concentrating, one of their biggest problems is their overconfidence. I think they gave away game 2 and let Portland back into this series, and they're in danger of doing that again right now. They had the good start tonight, but Portland is right back in it with their fine athletic play.
I know this is tough. It puts you on the spot, but people want this answer. You played with Bird when Bird was at his peak. Who's better, Bird then or Jordan now?
Every top player at the top of their game in the era that they're playing is the greatest player of all time. And as it moves along, as the game moves along and the games get better and the Michael Jordans of the world grow up and learn from the Larry Birds, they become better. Michael Jordan is a better physical player. Right now he's much better fundamentally. There's a lot of great players in the history of this game. Bird and Jordan are two of them, two of the very best. But Bill Russell, he was was always my favorite.
You know,
it still is today.
This is a presidential election year with a politician's answer like that. There's still time to get in the race.
I just want to play basketball with Larry again.
When we come back, we'll turn our attentions to Michael Jordan with another Michael Jackson and a basketball music video. That's right after this message from Prudential and a word from the NBA, and our thanks to Bill Walton. Halftime in Portland, Bulls 48 and the Blazers 45. Michael Jordan has 19 points at the half. Jordan, of course, is probably the most popular athlete in the world, and Michael Jackson is one of the world's most popular entertainers. With Jackson about to release his new single and music video, he enlisted the help of Jordan. And here, courtesy of the folks at NBA Entertainment, is a behind-the-scenes look at the making of Jam. Ahmad Rashad was able to attend.
Preparing to shoot his new music video entitled Jam, the Prince of Pop asked the Jam Master himself to make a cameo appearance.
First, I said, I don't know if I want to do this because this guy's going to try to get me out there to dance, and that's going to be really embarrassing. And then I said, well, shoot, it's Michael Jackson. And when will you ever get an opportunity to, get to know him socially for a little bit, and yet at the same time get to do his video? So I changed my mind and I went on and did it.
And roll, please. So what happens when two of the world's most recognizable entertainers, one from the music world and one from the sports world, collaborate on a project together?
Both of them are really good sports, and because they're willing to sort of like put themselves on the line and humble themselves and embarrass themselves. That's kind of the story.
Part of the video has one MJ teaching the other MJ some moves on the basketball court.
I knew you could shoot. He won't admit it, but he's got a good jump shot.
While Jackson was impressive in his shooting and ball handling skills, Jordan got the better of the play.
I won the one-on-one. But he's quick. I can tell he's quick.
But when it was time to get busy on the dance floor, MJ #1 simply took over.
It ain't too hard for me to jam. It ain't too hard for me to jam. It ain't too hard for me to jam.
I'm glad it works out well for you guys. Just don't laugh too hard, okay?
As you can see probably in the video that I was a few steps behind, maybe about 5 or 10. It came off well. It was a great opportunity for me to see him social.
And when is the tour starting? Ooh. How long will it take? All summer?
All summer.
You gonna be near Spain anytime in August?
Should be, because we are in Spain. Yeah, I think it's in August.
He transcended music altogether. I mean, I consider him probably one of the greatest entertainers.
Two master jammers, Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson. Michael Jordan told me that he's normally very confident anytime he does anything, but when he got out there with Michael Jackson, it became overwhelming, and I guess so, trying to dance with Michael Jackson. Well, we will have that and a whole lot more from behind the scenes this week. Coming up this Saturday on Inside Stuff, check your local listings for the time in your area. And right now, let's go back to Bob Costas.
All right, Ahmad, and before it's time for us to beat it out of here, how about Terry? Nice. Yeah, thank you. How about Terry Porter? He had his moments in the game 2 come from behind win, but generally the Bulls have shut him out of the Portland offense. He got only 7 shots on Sunday, and to this point only 3 at halftime.
Well, it looks to me as though Terry Porter is making a concerted effort to try to make sure that his teammates get involved in the game. He did a good job of that. The thing that has to be of concern to the Bulls, Scottie Pippen has 3 fouls. If he has to sit on the bench, that means Michael Jordan is out long on the court, because they always have either one or the other on the court most of the game.
Okay, Quinn, thanks a lot. We'll return with second half action. The Bulls leading the Blazers by 3 in game 4 after these messages from your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the companies of the Prudential. In a changing world, one thing remains rock solid: the Prudential.
It's Chicago by 3 over Portland as we close in on the start of play in the the third quarter. And Mike, as we pour over the stat sheet of note, Portland 15 assists in the first half, Chicago with 10, and that's certainly in contrast to what took place here on Sunday.
When you think back, the last game, for the entire game, they had 12 assists. The Portland team did not shoot well, did not get out in the open floor. So far in the first half, they're shooting well, they're out in the open floor, so a lot of assists.
And Magic, we talked about the tempo at the start of the game, the fact that Chicago has been able to force their tempo on Portland. It's been more of the same for the most part tonight.
But just because Chicago is up only 3 points, they still are enjoying the tempo. Slow, easy attack when we have it, but really let's slow it down, execute, keep the crowd out of the game.
Well, let's hear the views of Portland coach Rick Adelman. He is with Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
All right, thanks, Marv. Rick, a little bit of a slow start, but only 3 points down at the half.
Well, we got off to a slow start. We were missing a lot of shots around the basket. As the half went on, I thought we defended better, got better pressure on the ball, took them out of what they wanted to do, and we're in pretty good shape right now.
You did some work yesterday in getting Terry Porter involved, but today only 3 shots.
They're really doing a good job of staying with him. We just have to continue to try to free him up. We got to come over and help him out a little bit in the open court, try to free him up off some pick and rolls. We haven't done that enough. To do that, you got to have everybody running the court. That's something we talked about at halftime.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck to you in the second half. All right, Marv.
Thanks, Ahmad. Here are tonight's fellow genuine draft halftime statistics, and both clubs shot well. The Bulls 20 of 39, 51%. The Blazers sparked by Clyde Drexler, 7 of 11 for 15 points. And off the bench, Cliff Robinson, bouncing back from the 2 of 11 on Sunday, hit 4 of 8 for 8 points. Blazer bench has done it in the first half. We'll be back right after these messages. Coliseum, the 682nd consecutive sellout for the Portland Trail Blazers. Michael Jordan, the high man for Chicago. Clyde Drexler with 15 to lead Portland. Marv Albert with the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello. Irvin Magic Johnson, Ahmad Rashad, Bob Costas, Quinn Buckner. A cast of thousands for Game 4 of this best of 7 NBA Final. The Bulls leading 2 games to 1. The Blazers trying to tie the series at 2. Game 5 here in Portland on Friday night will be on hand starting 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 o'clock on the West Coast. Cartwright is rejected. He thought he was fouled. Duckworth met on a switch by Pippen. Now Drexler to the crossover. Duckworth being guarded by Grant. Duckworth, but the foul call before the shot attempt by Joe Crawford.
Just to make a point of what a difference an officiating crew makes in the game, and that's why the coaches and players have to know who's on the game. Game 1, 23-22 free throw attempts. Game 2, 38-26. Game 3, 29-32. Halftime of this game, 8-7. Not too many free throw attempts.
Foul was called on Grant. He has 3. Michael Jordan delivering to John Paxson. Pippen looking for Jordan, but it was broken up.
Well, we must point out that in all 3 of these games so far, Chicago has dominated the third quarter of every game. So let's see if that's going to hold true tonight.
And you recall Sunday night, the record low third quarter, the 2 teams combining for 31 points, that an NBA Finals record. Cartwright stripped by Drexler. Shot clock at 4. Here's Paxson for 3. And that is his first field goal. A 3-pointer for John Paxson, giving the Bulls a 51-45 lead. Drexler, wild shot. He was trying to draw the foul. Pippen ahead of the field.
That's the problem when you wind up taking bad shots, you land on the floor, you're not up back in transition defense. That's when Chicago will take advantage of you when they have numbers and run out.
This is not a good start for the Portland Trail Blazers. They wanted to have a start like this, to get this crowd excited again like they did at the end of the second quarter.
The Bulls with an 8-point lead. Shot clock is running down. Here's Porter. Just to get it off. Duckworth on the rebound. And again blows the layup. Kevin Duckworth
before you put the ball on the floor like that, it's going to be travel.
Drexler had to race it down. With the spin, he ran into Duckworth. 3-on-2 for the Bulls. Pippen. Scottie Pippen is 6 for 10 from the field. Drexler whips it out. Drexler for 3. And Buck Williams gets to it. Drexler 0 for 3 from downtown. Now Drexler played by Pippen. Duckworth. Rebounded by Grant.
Duckworth never really has his balance when he makes that move to the middle of the floor. He's always pulling away from the rim instead of going to it.
Jordan with a wild attempt. He's trying to draw the foul.
Exactly. You know, they let a lot go, so when you go in there tonight, it's man on man now. I mean, you better be going up there to score because they're not calling any of those little tic-tac fouls.
And both clubs have gone to a cold spell. Pippen. Scottie Pippen giving the Bulls a 55-47 lead with 4 minutes gone by in the third, and Terry Porter tells Joe Crawford, timeout. The Blazers will talk it over. Chicago with a 7-2 advantage in this third quarter.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Acura Automobiles. Experience precision-crafted performance. By Wendy's Old Fashioned Hamburgers. The best hamburgers and a whole lot more. And by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm.
Well, a look at the beautiful outdoors here in Portland, Oregon. Indoors, the Bulls with an 8-point lead, and we touched upon the fact moments ago that the Trailblazers have had major problems in the third quarter. 17 points in the third quarter, game 1, 16 game 2, 15 in game 3. And check out the Portland shooting in the third quarter, and it's carried right to tonight's ball game. In the third quarter, Blazers 1 for 10 from the field. They've missed their last 5.
How do you explain coming out of the locker room having problems in the third quarter? I mean, what type of things are going to affect your team at halftime?
Well, to me, you know, it doesn't seem like they have a particular 1 or 2 plays they want to run. Terry Porter just hit a shot there. Like with Riley, with us, we had like 3 or 4 plays we wanted to go to right away and get us off. And it seems like to them that they haven't had that in the third quarters of every game, and especially tonight.
Grant way off, rebounded by Duckworth. Why would that be is perhaps the feeling of the coaching staff. That's a blocking foul on Paxson.
We had talked earlier about trying to do something in practice yesterday for Terry Porter. Well, here's the exact play they worked on. The double screen, and then let Porter try and come off to see if he can get an open shot. Paxson, the defensive player, decides to go over the top. Porter runs a fade to the corner. There it is. Something to free up Terry Porter.
Getting back to the question I started to ask you, is it because Rick Adelman feels that perhaps this club cannot handle too many plays as Percy is able to hit? Some teams are better in a freelance situation.
Well, I'm sure with his talent, they are better in a freelance situation. But you're in the championship, you're in the finals now. You got to go with some set offense. You got to go with some kind of strategy that's going to help you win the game, especially when you're playing the Chicago Bulls. You can't run the ball all the time against them.
Quick shot again by Drexler. One of those times where maybe a few passes is a better decision.
The Bulls with a 57-51 lead. Foul committed by Duckworth. That is his second.
Off the dribble, Pippen so tough to play in the open floor, particularly for a guy like Duckworth who is so big.
You know, he would have been better off, Mike, if he had just let him just take the jump shot. If he had faded back toward the basket in terms of Duckworth and let Scotty maybe pull up for the jumper instead of trying to challenge him out on the basketball court.
Jordan with the move to his left. And that is one you rarely see.
But that time, you'll notice that Drexler gets his arm up and challenges the jump shot, which he did not do earlier when we showed a replay, and Michael knocked it down. That time, the arm was extended.
Duckworth lost it. Pippen with the change of pace. Drexler got a piece of it. Drexler lost it. And here comes Jordan. Well, he felt the footsteps and was able to slow down and went for the conventional layup.
Yes. How many times have we seen in this series that one of the Portland Trail Blazers would drive in there, jump up in the air, nothing there, and try to make a pass, steal, layup for the Chicago Bulls many of times in this series.
And it's a point that you make about passing ability of players. Now, a few moments ago, we mentioned that Jordan went up to take a jumper. Watch the extension by Clyde Drexler. The challenge is there. There it is, arm extended, almost on the ball. That's what makes the difference. The shooter does not get the real clean look at the basket.
Foul by Paxson, Chicago's third team foul. Portland with one. Mark Williams. That is his second field goal. Buck has been quiet offensively. Bulls by 6 as we come up on 5 minutes to go in the third. Paxson drawing the foul. John Paxson going to the drive.
Unusual for John to take it to the basket, and Terry Porter thought he wouldn't drive, and he drove the ball to the basket and got fouled. Now, you know, Buck is not Buck's fault. He's been begging, and you know what? If I was Buck, I would demand the ball because they're not shooting well from the outside. So, hey, if you're not shooting well, give me a chance inside. See what I can do. I shoot 60% under the basket, so I can shoot when I'm down low like he just did a while ago.
And then if you start punishing teams on the inside, they will have to collapse the defense, and now the outside shots will come when you kick in, then you kick back out, and now you have stationary shots rather than on the move shots.
5 minutes remaining in the third. Chicago with a 7-point lead. Kersey took the shoulder, and he'll go to the line. That is number 4 on Pippen.
Well, Phil Jackson will have to make a decision now. He's going to talk to Pippen probably about making him aware of the fact he's got 4. Does he make the substitution and bring Livingston in the game and put Pippen on the bench? Or does he leave Pippen out on the floor, hoping that he does not pick up his 5th foul?
Kevin Duckworth sitting down, replaced by Cliff Robinson. 7 points, 10 rebounds for Duckworth. He has been the man off the boards with that double-figure number. Here's Kersey, only a 66% free throw shooter.
Pippen was questioning whether or not the foul was on him. He didn't think it was. He thought that he had already gone by Kersey on the drive, that it was someone else who may have stuck a hand in there.
Well, you know what? It was either a foul or travel. So, or, you know, you couldn't call it because he traveled once he got past Scott.
Livingston replacing Scottie Pippen. Chicago with a 5-point lead.
I like the decision by Phil Jackson. Put Pippen on the bench right now. Buy time with Cliff Livingston because you're still holding a 5-point lead.
On right for Livingston. And it's recovered by Livingston. Jordan for 3. Michael Jordan has gone back to the 3-point game. He hit one early. This is second of the night, 24 points in all. And Chicago leads 63-55. Drexler try to match it. Here's Jordan, strip. Good play by Drexler. Kersey going at Cartwright. Porter for three. Kersey gets to it. These are the first 2 rebounds of the game for Jerome Kersey. Here's Robinson wide open. Yes. The Bulls 63. The Trailblazers 57. Just under 4 minutes to go in the third. And it's kicked out by Drexler.
A few moments ago, Drexler had taken a bad shot at the offensive end, but if you work hard and get it back for your team at the defensive end, coaches will live with that type of thing. Bad shot, but get back on defense and make up for it.
3:44 to go in the third. The Bulls take a timeout.
Shot back at Portland Memorial Coliseum. I'm joined now by a fellow Duck, Peter Jacobson. Now, we have heard so much about Michael Jordan's golf game. Could he play on the tour?
I'll be playing center for the Bulls before he's on the tour, believe me.
But you have this Blazer mania, right? It's running wild in Portland.
Tell you what, it's the only game in town. But if we can pull this thing out, I think we'll just tear this whole town apart.
But you've had Michael out to the golf course playing?
We played yesterday. He shot 47-39. Not bad for a weak amateur.
All right, Peter. Thanks for joining me, man. Go Ducks. Go Ducks. Back to you, Marv.
Audemars, not bad for a guy with a bruised heel also, I guess, huh?
Must have found just enough power to hit the golf ball. 47-39.
Peter Jacobson, a native of Portland, season ticket holder, showing his form at halftime. Cliff Robinson whipping by John Paxson and drew the foul. The Bulls have led all the way. They opened up with a 10-0 burst, led by as many as 13. Portland has made a couple of runs, and they are in the midst of one right here. Paxson called for the foul. Chicago is over the limit. 3:38 remaining in the third quarter, and that Chicago lead is down to 5.
Well, we got a key matchup to look forward to right here. Now, will Cliff Robinson be able to handle Bill Cartwright inside, or will the speed and the outside shooting ability of Cliff Robinson get to Bill Cartwright? So you can look forward to this in the next 3:30 to see what's going to happen here.
Now Jordan looking to post up. Yes. Michael Jordan has 26. The Bulls 65. The Blazers 59. And Rick Adelman has a combination of Porter and Drexler in the backcourt. Robinson is up front with Williams and Kersey. The alley-oop did not work. Drexler on the recovery. Phil Jackson felt he came from out of bounds. Here's Kersey. Now check that. Buck Williams. He has 6 points. And the Bulls now lead by 4.
Well, Portland had set up that backdoor lob on the timeout, and they love to use that play when they come out of huddles.
Cartwright. Rebounded by Kersey. Porter's pass is broken up by Paxson. A very low percentage pass from Porter. Williams breaks it up. Here's Porter giving it up. And Kersey draws the foul.
Michael Jordan left alone down on the low post area. No, you got to go get the basketball out of his hands. He's too good down there. Michael almost burned on the backdoor lob attempt, but just recovers enough so that Clyde can't get a good handle on it and finish the play off.
I hope everybody was watching that. When we slowed it up, did you see both men's sky? Boy, was that beautiful. That's the agility of an NBA basketball player. I can't sky, but I love looking at somebody else that can.
Marv and I are having a hard time relating to that.
Speak for yourself.
I tell you, this is going to be one game. Nobody should leave their sets because this fourth quarter will be interesting.
Kersey is 2 of 3 from the line. Bulls 65. The Blazers Blazers 62. 2:20 remaining in the third. They are on their feet here at the Coliseum in Portland. The outside official, Dick Pavetta, with the call against Kersey. That's his second. Third team foul.
You know, Portland has made a lot of mistakes this afternoon, but they have certainly shown the effort in breaking up a lot of the plays that are occurring after the mistakes. Right now, the Blazers up on the hustle board, 42-29. Last game, it was Chicago up on the hustle board the entire game.
Robinson to the rebound. And Porter's pass again picked off, this time by Armstrong.
I mean, those are not good passes, trying to cross-court it off the dribble, one hand, and Terry Porter is not 6 feet 9 inches tall like Magic Johnson was when he could throw those things off the dribble.
Armstrong tried for three. Livingston with the save.
Well, two things we found out last year playing the Bulls. You cannot cross-court it in terms of throwing a pass cross-court, or you cannot throw long passes because Jordan and Pippen will run them down before it gets to your man.
Jordan delivering to Grant, who was bottled up. It'll be Chicago ball with 6 on the 24.
Magic just made an excellent point. This team covers so much ground defensively. When you try and cross-court it, they intercept. And as Rick Adelman has said, we have not faced a team like this before that pose these kind of problems.
Shot clock at 1. And that is an air ball. It's a 24-second violation.
If you're wondering why Chicago is struggling right now, because Scottie Pippen is not on the basketball court, and a lot of their offense revolves around Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. Scottie penetrating, kicking it to BJ, and these other guys can get their shot off that way. Right now, Michael's had to take all the offense on his shoulder and is not getting it done at this particular moment.
You have two creators that run the Chicago offense. Pippen leads the team in assists. Jordan's right behind him. Right now with Pippen on the bench, it's a major problem out there.
Pippen sitting down after he picked up his 4th foul. We come up on a minute to go in the third. Another low-scoring third quarter. Both teams with 17 points in the third. Here's Buck Williams. Offensive foul. For Buck, it is his third.
One extra burden that the foul problems on Pippen have played is that Michael Jordan must stay on the floor. Now, as Buck goes down inside and clears out with that free arm, Joe Crawford is there, makes it. It's the left arm that clears him out. But going back once again, with Pippen in foul trouble, Phil Jackson has had to leave Michael Jordan on the floor. He has played every minute other than 2 in this basketball game.
Craig Hodges checking in for the first time this series. He's been bothered by a sprained ankle. Michael Jordan will go to the line. Foul committed by Robinson.
Jordan getting to the front of the rim. There's the foul clearly on the shot attempt.
Well, they did a wonderful job of 1-4. They went to a 1-4, spread everybody out, let Michael decide which side of the lane, whether he wants to go left or right. Perfect play. Great move by Coach Jackson to call that play at that particular time. It was the same play last year that tied the game in Game 3 of our game when he came down 1-4, took the jumper to send the game into overtime.
You tell me who wants to guard him one-on-one, top of the circle with all the help broken down because they spread the floor.
Especially with him coming full speed at you.
Michael 8 for 8 from the line. He has 28 points. Robinson too much dribble and it cost. Hodges lost it. Gave it right back. Nicely done. Clyde Drexler with 17, but that is first bucket of the third quarter. And the Bulls now lead 67-64, 25 seconds remaining in the third. Jordan looked to go one-on-one, changed his mind with Ainge coming over to help. Craig Hodges off the bench to hit the jumper. That was 2-point range. The Bulls 69, the Blazers 64. Final seconds of the third quarter. it. 2 seconds to go in the quarter. Here's Jordan from beyond midcourt.
At the end of the third quarter, when the score is
After 3 in Portland of Game 4 of the best-of-7 NBA Final. Michael Jordan with 28. Clyde Drexler with 17 held to 2 points in the third. It's the Bulls 69 and the Portland Trail Blazers 66. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station.
Rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Welcome back to the City of Roses, Portland, Oregon, as we head to the fourth quarter. The Bulls and the Blazers each with 21, a low-scoring third quarter. That has been the scenario throughout this series. Chicago has led throughout. They've led by as many as 13, but the Blazers have shown some signs. They are within 3, despite the fact Clyde Drexler was only 1 of 8 from the field in the third.
Well, 21 points doesn't get you overly excited, but if you're Portland, at least it's heading in the right direction after the 3 previous third quarters were all, 15, 16, 17, that area. At least now they're up over 20 for a quarter.
Portland has done it off the boards. They have the edge 33-25 over Chicago. Shot clock on the 3. Porter with the good fake on Armstrong. That's the 24-second buzzer. And the Bulls open up with Jordan and Hodges at the guard. Scott Williams up front along with Horace Grant. Nice move by Michael Jordan. And he has 30. The Bulls lead 71-66.
This is a mismatch for the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, Chicago has gone to 3 guards. Now, who's going to play Michael Jordan? And then who will play the 2 shooters, B.J. Armstrong and Hodges? This is going to be interesting. Oh, I see Kersey is going to guard B.J. He went to help.
Ainge starts back. Ainge met by Hodges. Ainge and Porter in the backcourt. Robinson, Kersey, and Buck Williams up front. Robinson. I have the shot. Got it out to Porter. Minute and a half gone by in the fourth. Jordan, yes. And a timeout called by Rick Adelman. The Bulls 73, the Blazers 66.
Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
Today's Miller Genuine Draft Genuine Moment takes us back to 1983, where the doctor was operating. Julius Erving leading the 76ers to the championship, sweeping Pat Riley's Los Angeles Lakers in 4. Julius winning his first and only NBA title. He was a member of 2 ABA championship clubs with the New York Nets back in 1974 and 1976. In recognition of that memorable moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. I know that brings back just lovely memories for you, Magic, being swept by Julius and the Sixers.
Well, 2 things. I remember Bob McAdoo and Norm Nixon being hurt. And then also witnessing still the greatest move I've ever seen in basketball today, when Dr. J jumped out of bounds on the right side, floated, and ended up scoring on the left side.
Yes, we have seen that highlight a few times over the years.
It's still the greatest move I've ever seen, ever witnessed in a basketball game.
The Bulls lead by 7. Ainge passing on the 3. It's the 2. Danny Ainge for the second field goal. He has 5. The Bulls by 5.
And it was a little floater similar to that back in Game 2 that got Portland going, which eventually wound up being a win in overtime when they came back from that 10-point deficit. So let's see if Ainge gets them going once again.
Scottie Pippen is back. Michael Jordan sitting down. B.J. Armstrong with the open shot, hitting his second field goal.
Well, that was a good shot for him. He had missed his last 2 or 3 shots, and that was a good one for him to knock down for that confidence level.
Danny Ainge able to answer. The Bulls 75, the Blazers 70. 9 2:20 to go in the fourth. And Portland has done a good job off the bench. The bench well represented for the Bulls right here. Armstrong took the shove. It counts. The foul on Ain, and Armstrong gets the call on the continuation.
See, when you come down the court and you knock down one shot, then you come down again, to give you confidence to go inside and knock down another one. That's what he did. He went inside, excellent head fake, and for two. But all that was set up. That shot was set up by the prior shot when he had hit the wide open set shot.
EJ, an excellent free throw shooter. And as I say that, he throws one strong off the back of the rim. Bulls by 7. 3 minutes in, fourth quarter. Kersey and a tip for Porter. So Terry Porter getting inside. He has 10 points. Chicago leads 77-72 in the midst of a rest period provided for Michael Jordan. Ains off the turnover. Drexler being guarded by Pippen. And Robinson took a shove from Grant. That's number 4 on Grant. 4 apiece on Pippen and Grant. Maxson and Williams have 3. The foul rundown for the Blazers. Robinson with 3. Buck Williams with 3. Kevin Duckworth with 3 fouls.
You know, this is really interesting to me. We have played now three-quarter, good block right there by Williams. We're playing now almost 3.5 quarters, and the man I thought who really got them going the other day, here's a block shot here by Williams on the help defense, was Stacey King, and we haven't seen him at all the whole game. And to me, in that fourth quarter, he hit 2 clutch shots to really nail the coffin down for that victory for the Chicago Bulls.
Well, it goes along with Phil Jackson of being predictably unpredictable. You just don't know what he's going to do. All of a sudden, Hodges plays. He hasn't played yet in the series.
Strong move by Kersey. 13 points for Kersey, who has come on in the second half. And Portland is within 3. Michael Jordan back on the floor. Here's Scott Williams. Oh, he's rocked by Kersey. Let's see what the call is here. Darryl Garrison slowly making his way to the official scorer's table.
The concern is whether or not Garrison's going to award the ball back to Chicago after the free throws, calling a flagrant foul.
Penalty 1 on 25. A personal foul on Portland's Cliff Robinson. A flagrant foul, penalty 1.
Yes, a flagrant has been called.
There's the foul, and then after it's a shove to the ground is what Darryl Garrison calls. It's not the body landing on it. Watch after now the body comes down right here. The shove with the leg and the body, there's where the flagrant part is called, and that is, remember, there are 2 interpretations, an A and B one. The A interpretation where you are awarded the ball back again after the 2 free throw attempts are taken. No ejection on that one.
Personal foul on Robinson is 4th. A flagrant on Kersey. Magic, for the most part, this has been a mild series. I know Michael Jordan was upset with a couple of contact moves with Buck Williams in game number 3, but there are many who feel that Portland should have been more aggressive against the Chicago Bulls. Not quite like the New York Knicks, because that is not their makeup, and you don't want to completely change their philosophy around. However, perhaps they would have been more successful by grinding away a bit at the Bulls.
Well, they have the manpower to be aggressive, because foul trouble would not hurt them. They have enough people on that bench to bring in if foul trouble occurs. Now, just before that, you saw that Danny Ainge, who is a veteran, who has won 2 championships, went up to Kersey to talk to him. Kersey didn't want to have no part of that, pushed him off, and now you got players on the Portland team upset at each other. They must forget about that play and go on with the ball game.
Well, the Bulls now lead at 80-74 with 7:43 remaining in this fourth quarter. And Rick Allen is very upset. You recall the Trailblazers were criticized for a great number of technical fouls in that one game against Utah. They have certainly calmed down. Here's Jordan for three. And a climbing foul on Scott Williams. It's a loose ball on Williams. That is his fourth.
Now, right now, this is a critical part of the game for the Portland Trailblazers. They must forget about that flagrant foul, get back to playing basketball, and just say, hey, it's over with, let's go.
They're a frustrated team right now. If they lose control in the next 2 minutes, Chicago's going to open this game up.
B.J. Armstrong called for his second. Rick Adelman's concern was that the consecutive fouls do not turn his ball club around. They have, in the past, from time to time, blown up in this type of situation, and Cliff Robinson was able to personal and the flagrant on Jerome Kersey, leading to the parade of free throws.
You know, I just witnessed a nice thing in a veteran and a champion. Danny Ainge, even though Kersey had pushed him last time, after Kersey had got fouled, he went right over to him, gave him a high five, patted him on the rear end, and said, hey, let's go. Let's forget about what happened. Let's play basketball.
Excellent observation, because somebody has to be willing to swallow it and move on. And Ainge understood it was nothing personal meant by Kersey. Their teammates, he had stated earlier that this is one of the closest teams he's ever been on. It's the heat of the moment, the excitement, that's all.
.17 remaining in the fourth quarter. Cartwright can't find anyone. Ainge chest to chest with Jordan. Chicago with a 4-point lead. Kersey matching with Cartwright. Traveling violation.
Well, Portland has a very, very small basketball team on the floor right now. Cliff Robinson is their center, and they're playing with Porter, Ainge, Drexler out on the floor. A lot of small guys.
And by Gatorade, it's all you're thirsting for.
.6:57 remaining in the fourth quarter, and the Bulls with an 80-76 lead on the Blazers. Chicago has led all the way. They've led by as many as 13. Michael Jordan is the high man with 32 points, 9 of 20 from the field, 8 of 8 from the line. It has been a thoroughly solid performance from Jordan right from the start.
So what remains to be seen now coming out of this timeout, Portland staying with the small team. Kersey, Drexler, those are the forwards in essence. Ainge and Porter the backcourt. Chicago's going with its normal team, its big team. Chicago wants to see if they can pound them on the glass with the big team.
Well, this is a good move by Coach Phil Jackson to take B.J. out and bring back Paxson so he can get better outside shooting. So when they double down and kick it out, Paxson can hit that shot.
Robinson fires it back out. He was going post up on Cartwright. Ainge unable to hit the runner. Grant with the rebound. Jordan played by Drexler. Finds the open Paxson. And Porter at the guards. Drexler, Kersey, and Robinson on the front line. Here's Drexler. Drexler, 8 for 20 from the field. He went 1 of 8 in the third. He's gone cold in the second half.
You try to stay away from what we call one-pass offense. That means the team gets a chance to throw only one pass after they cross the half-court line, and somebody shoots it up, particularly with a hand in your face. Not the best shot.
Shot clock down to 1. Grant has to force. Portland seeking to tie the series at 2. Chicago hoping to go up 3 games to 1. Ainge finding Kersey. Kersey with 19, 13 of his 19 in the second half. And Portland is down by 2. Pippen forced wide and fouled.
A few moments ago for Portland, what they've been waiting for the entire series. Let their defense ignite the offense. It starts with the block shot, and then once they come up with the basketball, they're out in the open floor, and it's the unselfish play of Ainge, Kersey, the 2 guys that had a problem, no more problem. They're back on the same wavelength.
It's winning time. That's what it is. So let's go with teammates. Let's try to win this game.
Scottie Pippen on the line for the first time today. He's a 76% foul shooter. Chicago 13 of 17 from the foul line.
Ainge is face guarding Jordan.
Well, Marv, you was just talking about Chicago's drought. The reason for Chicago's drought is they haven't been getting any penetration and no layups. All their points on all their shots have come off jump shots. All their points have come off jump shots, and that's all they've been shooting. In return, they've been missing, and that's why Portland has been able to stay in this game.
The Trailblazers with an opportunity to tie or take the lead. The Bulls have led all the way. Foul called on Jordan. That is his second. And Chicago is over the limit.
Well, that time Michael had turned his head just for a split second, and when he turned it to watch the cutter go by, Clyde put it on the floor. The foul takes place.
Drexler 1 of 2 from the line. He had hit 28 in a row. He has gone cold in the second half. 17 points for the game, 15 of the 17 in the first half.
And you don't believe that foul shooting is important? Pippen on the other end just a while ago missed 2, could have put him up 4. Here, Clyde Drexler misses the first one, could have brung them within 1. Here's a chance for the second one. That's why you got to practice free throws a lot, because the game comes out late. Second one missed again.
However, it's Robinson on the rebound, and he was fouled. Foul committed by Bill Cartwright. Cliff Robinson, who is a shaky foul shooter at 66%, has connected on 2 of 4 this evening.
If you get second shot opportunities close to the rim, good things are going to happen. It's hard work in the lane. Nothing comes easy. Chicago gives you no easy layups.
And Portland is now 10 of 18 from the line. Both the Blazers and the Bulls have not shot well at the free throw line. And look at the fourth quarter shooting, although Portland has done better in the fourth quarter than they have for entire games. The Chicago lead is down to 1 with 3:50 to go in the fourth. Jordan stripped by Drexler. 3 on 2. Kersey. Porter gave it back. Drexler. Portland has taken the lead for the first time.
Here's Michael posting up again. Clyde said, well, I learned from the last 2 times you did it that I'm going to back off, knock it away. Clyde, here comes Kersey to Porter, back to Clyde. The man who made the steal got the reward, the easy 2 points.
Well, we dealt with the subject right at the start of the telecast for Clyde Drexler. This could be a final shot. His 9th year in the NBA. You do not get to the NBA Finals desperately. This is his second opportunity the last 3 years. Portland losing to Detroit in 1990. They split the first 2 games in Detroit and then lost 3 straight here in Portland. And here is Clyde, a perennial all-star, hoping that his club can tie the series at 2.
If they do not win this championship this season, look for this team to break up. It will not be the same Portland Trail Blazers team next season.
Portland with a 1-point lead, their first lead of the night. Shot clock at 6. Haynes with the rebound. We're coming up on 3 minutes to go. In the fourth, Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Magic Johnson, and Ahmad Rashad from the Coliseum in Portland. Drexler with the pass fake. Nice feed from Kersey.
That's all Rick Adelman has been telling him. A little bit of body movement, a little bit of dribble penetration, and some ball movement, and you get high percentage shots.
Jordan did not have the movement on the baseline. Got it to Paxson, and he's tied the game with the three-pointer. John Paxson hits the three-point shot, and the Blazers and Bulls are at 85 apiece. A pushing foul committed by Cartwright.
A few moments ago, on offense for Portland, all the things they've been talking about. The pass to Drexler, a little bit of body movement, some cutting, some fake screening. Put the ball on the floor, and there's an open teammate because you make the Chicago defense move. Adelman, yep, that's it. Just like we drew it up, just like we talked about in practice. I like it.
And the same thing happened on the other end. Michael Jordan penetrates, he kicks it back out to John, and he knocks down the three-pointer.
Cliff Robinson continues to struggle. Scottie Pippen just walked by and had something to say to Cliff. Little psych out by Scottie.
And a tough coaching decision here. Coming into this game, he was 6 for 12 in the first 3 games. Today, another bad evening at the free throw line. What do you do? Do you leave him on the floor, or do you take him off at the end of the game?
Well, you almost got to leave him in because of his scoring ability.
Robinson has 16 points. The Blazers lead by 1. Jordan with the pull-up. And it's rebounded by Kersey. Jerome Kersey has been the key for the Blazers in turning things around in the second half. He has 25 points. He was blanked off the boards in the first half, and he's come up with a number of enormous offensive rebounds. That's a block called on Paxson.
And Portland that time came back and ran the exact same play that they had run earlier when Drexler dumped it off to Kersey. This time, Clyde takes the baseline and kicks it across. Paxson not able to get there in time on the recovery.
If something is working, you stick with it. They've scored now. The last time where Cliff missed one free throw, but they got a point out of it, and let's see what they can do here.
Porter is 1 of 2 from the line, 86% foul shooter. 11 points for Terry Porter. Portland leads 87-85. A minute 50 to go in the fourth. Blazers by 3. Light pressure shown by Portland. Ainge guarding Pippen. Drexler on Jordan. Michael not able to hit. Rebounded by Robinson. And he drew the foul.
That was one terrific offensive move by Michael Jordan to get the shot off. He got a great look at it. He just didn't knock it down. And then when the rebound was grabbed by Robinson, believe me, Jordan knows how he's been at the free throw line this evening. He steps away after he starts left. The rebound, Jordan's going to make him do it at the free throw line.
When we come back, Robinson 4 of 8 from the line will shoot 2 more. surge here in the fourth quarter have taken a 3-point lead. The Bulls have 2 full timeouts and a 20 remaining. Blazers 3 and a 20. Chicago already over the foul limit. The next foul from Portland will put them over the limit. Cliff Robinson will go to the line. He was fouled by Michael Jordan, who picked up his third. Robinson is 4 of 8 from the line. But Cliff has certainly turned it from the 2 of 11 shooting in Game 3 on Sunday, looking for points 17 and 18.
We had said at the end of Game 3 that if Portland was going to wind up beating Chicago here, they had to get a more balanced attack, had to get more people contributing. Right now, you have 4 players in double figures for the Trailblazers, only 2 guys in double figures for Chicago.
Minute 35 remaining. Robinson hits 1 of 2. Portland by 4. Porter staying on Paxson. Cartwright played by Robinson. Pippen with the double team. It was deflected by Kersey. Here's Drexler. And he's fouled.
Again, excellent team defense leads to a break for the Portland Trailblazers. Their team defense tonight has been much better. Deflection here, knocked away by Porter. And this is the reason why they're in the lead right now. This is the reason why they're making a move on the Chicago Bulls, because of their team defense has improved, especially in these last 5-6 minutes.
Clyde Drexler is now 2 of 5 from the line, and Portland leads by 5.
Magic, when was the last perimeter shot that Portland has taken?
Well, it's been, 4 or 5 minutes ago with Kersey from the corner. They've gotten much smarter, executed a lot better down the stretch, but also their team defense has been better and allowed them to get out on the break.
Chicago has taken a timeout. We'll be right back. Well, since Scott Williams hit the 3 consecutive free throws off the personal foul and the flagrant foul, the Portland Trailblazers have turned it all around. They have outscored the Bulls 17-5 since the series of free throws by Williams.
And let's give credit to Rick Adelman for putting that lineup on the floor. He gambled. He went to a small lineup, but it's played very good defense. It's produced some turnovers and blocked shots, and then it has been very efficient at the offensive end of the floor.
A minute 16 left in the fourth. Portland leads 91-85. Pippen fumbled it and drew the foul. He was pushed. It's called on Ainge, his 4th. Pippen to the foul line.
And Chicago realizes that they must now put the ball on the floor, take it to the basket quickly. They have to put points on the board without time running off the clock. So drives to the basket, quicker shots are what Chicago will look for.
And Scottie Pippen is now 0 for 3 from the line. Pippen usually a dependable free throw shooter. 76% for the regular season and 78 in the final series.
But Marv, the 3 that he's missed, all 3 of them has been crucial free throws.
Portland leading 91-86. Pressure by Chicago. And Porter handles against Paxson. The Blazers hoping to tie the series at 2, setting up a pivotal Game 5 here on Friday night. Shot clock at 10. Just under 1 minute to go in the fourth. Crowd looking for a foul on Jordan. Jordan was picked off. Shot clock at 3. Here's Porter. Good play by Paxson. And Portland will throw in with 1 on the 24. Rick Adelman reminding his team 1 second remaining on the 24. Kersey throwing into Ainge. Gets it off. And it's rebounded by Grant. We're down to 40 seconds to go in the fourth. 5-point lead for the Blazers. Paxson with the running hook, able to bank it home. John Paxson brings Chicago within 3. Porter racing ahead of the field. Surprise Chicago. And now the Bulls call for time. With 29 seconds remaining. Phil Jackson taking a 20.
John Paxson does a very good job of putting the ball on the floor, going by Drexler, and then converting with the left hand off the backboard. But, as Magic mentioned earlier, when you play a whole season one way, you tend to stay with it. Portland's mentality, attack right away. They took it out of bounds, looked down the floor. There was Porter by himself. Drexler never hesitated, laid it out in front.
Well, whose man is usually back? The first line of defense is usually your point guard. That time, Paxson was driving to the hole. He made the basket, but he's usually the first line of defense to get back. He couldn't get back. Michael or Scotty should have been back to cover for John.
Is Michael Jordan fatigued? Only 4 points in the fourth quarter. He's missed his last 3 shots. He's only 11 for 25.
He's definitely fatigued because those last 3 shots that he missed has been Michael Jordan's shots that he normally knocks down, especially during crunch time, winning time. It's usually Jordan time, but it hasn't been tonight.
29 seconds remaining in the fourth. The Blazers lead by 5. Jordan unleashing the three-pointer. And let's check out the call. Darryl Garrison says last touch by the Blazers with 18 seconds remaining. Bill Cartwright now checking in for Scott Williams. The Bulls 4 of 11 from three-point range.
Well, down 5 at the time, you need a 3 and a 2 or a 2 and a 3. It doesn't matter what order they come in. So Jordan tried for the quick pull-up 3, figuring if he misses, maybe he'll get an offensive rebound back in for the 2. Maybe he'll get fouled on the offensive rebound.
Pippen will throw in. Ainge giving him the room, looking to help. 15 seconds to go in the fourth. Pippen could find the shot. Paxson does. That's a three-point attempt. Rebounded by Pippen. Time is running out on the Bulls. Down to 4 seconds. Here's Paxson for Grant. Broken up by Drexler. Clyde Drexler with another superb defensive play.
That team defense has been excellent. We keep going over that over and over, but they said they had to be more aggressive. Well, they've been more aggressive, especially in the last 6 minutes of this basketball game. That's why they're going to win Game 4 here tonight.
The Bulls take a timeout, and that is their final timeout. Only 1 3/10 seconds to go, and the Blazers by 5.
And Clyde with the great hands coming in to swipe and get a piece of the ball. Let's go back to all the alarm and the sense of emergency that had taken place after the loss in Game 3. What's the difference between losing the first 2 away at Chicago and coming home and winning the next 2, or splitting there and splitting here after the first 4 games? It winds up that it's 2-2, and you got to play 3 more basketball games.
Well, in a 7-game series, the next game is always the most important game. So this game was the big game. Game 5 will be the big game.
And Game 5 will take place here at the Memorial Coliseum in Portland on Friday night. We'll be on hand starting 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 o'clock on the West Coast. Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls matching with Clyde Drexler and the Portland Trailblazers. And tonight, Drexler did it with some outstanding defensive play in the second half. He did not have the shot going. 21 points in all. 15 of his 21 came in the first half. It was Jerome Kersey who turned it on offensively in the second half.
And that's the key thing, that Clyde realized that offensively, he wasn't the go-to guy. It was somebody else picking up the slack. But Clyde made some other major contributions. He defended Michael Jordan. He made some nice passes. He was the decoy for a while, and other guys made it happen.
But why did Kersey play well? The reason he played well is because they got the rebound or they made some steals, and Kersey thrives in the open court. He was able to get out tonight in the open court.
And you talk about defense, Chicago only 21 points in the third quarter, only 19 here in the fourth quarter. They're down by 5. Pippen will throw in. regulation heave. It'll be Portland ball. The clock remains the same. So the Trailblazers tying the series at 2. And they just run it down. Psychologically, a huge victory for Portland, with thoughts of what took place 2 years ago against Detroit, although the cast of characters certainly different. But they split those first 2 games. The second was an overtime game, and then lost 3 in a row. Not the case here tonight. Let's go over to Ahmad.
All right, Clyde, now, when I talked to you before the game, you said that you guys were optimistic and confident. There had to be some, you guys had to doubt yourself a little bit coming in here.
Well, you always are very concerned about how you're going to play. I think we expected this to be a tough game, but we also had a lot of confidence that we could win here. And tomorrow's game, Friday's game, is going to be a very tough game also. I think the key is that to maintain your composure and just do the things you've been doing all season long and keep your poise.
All right, man. Good luck to you. Great game today. Good luck to you on Friday. All right, thanks, Clyde. Mark.
All right, Ahmad. Clyde Drexler with 21 points, but as we mentioned earlier, in the second half, several outstanding defensive plays by Drexler to help the Blazers to the victory. Jerome Kersey at 21. Cliff Robinson came back with 17. Terry Porter at 14. Michael Jordan with 32 points. Scottie Pippen with 17. Again, the final score, Portland 93 and Chicago 88. Join us Friday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, Game 5 of this NBA Finals Series here in Portland, 6 o'clock on the West Coast. Later tonight, following your late local news, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, followed by an all-new Late Night with David Letterman, later with Bob Costas. For Mike Fratello, Magic Johnson, and Ahmad Rashad, I'm Marv Albert. This has been a presentation of the NBA on NBC.
From the NBC Tower, this is WMAQ-TV Chicago. And now, Carol Marine, Ron Majors, Jim Tillman with weather, and Mark Giangreco with sports. The Channel 5 News at 10.
Jordan stripped by Drexler. 3 on 2. Kersey. Porter gave it back. Drexler.
I'm Ron Majors, live in Portland, where it was not to be for the Chicago Bulls tonight. 93-88 is the final score as the Portland Trail Blazers get the win. It was late in the game, late in the fourth quarter. The Portland Trail Blazers had never led when Michael Jordan was stripped of the ball by Clyde Drexler. Drexler all the way to the other end for a layup. Blazers took the lead. They were never headed again after that. Mark Giangreco is inside Memorial Coliseum. Mark?
Well, Ron, as the commercial says, I do love this game, but you had to hate tonight's performance. The Bulls jump out on a 10-0 run. The Blazers couldn't even draw iron. They were shooting themselves in the foot again, and the Bulls continued to keep them at arm's length every time the Blazers made a rush on their home court. And then with 3:34 left is when Clyde got the strip, the layup, and boom, that was it. The Bulls looked like the Blazers in previous performances. They got out of their game, gave it away. As Danny Ainge said earlier in the series, you cannot judge momentum in a championship. And I'll tell you, he was so right. It is a brand new series now tied at 2-2. We'll be jumping out to the podium and into the locker room throughout this broadcast. Right now, let's go back to the NBC Tower and John Kelly. John?
John Kelly actually is here, but so is Joan Esposito, Jim Tillman, and myself, and we're going to go directly to highlights, Jim.
Okay, well, the Bulls in the first quarter look like they're going to blow this one out. The Blazers showing all kinds of character, and they come back and just grab the victory. After streaking early, the Bulls never able to finish the job as Portland jumps right back into the series. Instead of sitting just one game from a repeat, Chicago now facing a Blazers team with momentum, and the series tied at 2-2. Here's what it looked like from Portland. Jordan, he gets the strip here. Pippen takes it the other way. He'll downshift a bit, and he gets the finger roll. Chicago up by 11. Later, Bill Cartwright adding to the lead. Mr. Bill gets the turnaround J to fall. Cartwright with 9 points in the first half. With time running out in the first quarter, they're off and running again. Pippen to BJ, ahead to Michael, who reels this one in. He gets the jam and takes a moment to hang around. But the Blazers wake up in the second. Clyde Drexler drives, shoots. Both he and the ball go down. Bulls up by just 3 at halftime. Third quarter, Drexler gliding again, but no. The Bulls turn rebound into transition out to Scotty, who soars in to finish it. Then in the fourth, Jerome Kersey clobbers Scotty Williams. He's called for the flagrant foul. Williams sinks all 3 free throws, and with that, Portland begins to self-destruct a bit. Watch this. Kersey taking out his frustrations on teammate Danny Ainge, but the Blazers do regroup. Drexler knocks it away from Jordan on this play. Clyde hustles on down. He'll get it back and finishes. Portland up by 1, its first lead of the game. And moments later, the Blazers go up by 3. Drexler drives and dishes to Kersey, 85-82 Portland. And down the stretch, the Bulls unable to convert. MJ pops, but he misses. Later, John Paxson, he drives, and he scores. This will cut it down to 3, but the Bulls fall asleep after the bucket. The touchdown pass goes to Porter as Portland rallies, coming back to take it, 93-88. A tough loss for the Bulls and a momentum builder for the Blazers. Game 5 will be on Friday. Should be a wild one.
Back in Portland, and we'll go back right now to Portland.
And Ron Majors. Ron?
Carol, you know, if you go back to the early part of this game, don't you have to imagine that the scariest moment of the night for the Blazers came very early? That was when Michael Jordan stepped right up, and the second basket of the night was a Jordan three-pointer. It had to be memories for the Blazers of that night when Jordan rained three-pointers down on them, but tonight it was not to be. Another interesting moment of the night was what we have called the best block. It's the end of the first half. Time running out. Buck Williams gets free under the hoop. It looks like he'll score an easy one. Suddenly there's Horace Grant to knock it away. Clyde Drexler is obviously irritated with what has happened, and he shows his disgust near the end of the half. It was at that point that you had to believe those 2 points were going to loom very important in this game. As it turned out, it was much more than a 2-point win for Portland. Portland, by the end of the game, was handling the Bulls pretty easily. And we'll have more of the highlights and more of the post-game interviews live from the podium inside as we continue in just a little bit. Carol, Joe?
All right, thank you, Ron. Still ahead on the Channel 5 News, double the fun for fans of the Bulls and the Sox.
Plus, of course, more from Portland.
For a look at what may have been the key in tonight's game, Mark.
Well, Carol, it certainly was the key down the stretch. With me, Dick Versace. Dixie, when was the last time Michael scored a basket down the stretch?
Well, you know, it was absolutely amazing. You know, we looked at the point in time when he had 32 points, and there was over 11 minutes left in the game. And I said, he's headed for a 50-point night. He never scored again.
And the rest of the guys were throwing up bricks.
Yeah, it was amazing. Scottie Pippen, I think the foul trouble that he got in was a factor. He had to sit quite a bit. You know, Phil looked like he was a magician. He pulls Haji off the bench and he gets a 3 out of him. Pax hits a 3 down the stretch. They get to the point where they have the potential 6-point play with the flagrant. It was flagrant, believe me. Flagrant foul. And Mike, you know, went for the juggler by taking the 3 there. That would have made it 6. It didn't hit it, so it was only 3. Portland survived that. Great defense got them back in the game. Drexler really stepped it up. I mean, the guy had a schizophrenic game. I thought maybe they were going to have to bring in a mystic from the East or something to try to, you know, solve his problems.
Well, I'll tell you, Dixie, the reporters are still jammed outside. Phil Jackson has the door locked and closed. I can only imagine what he is saying right now. And the Blazers are milking this victory. Terry Porter's sitting out on a director's chair in the middle of the floor being interviewed by local radio. Half the fans are still here cheering his every word. Let's jump outside to Ron Majors now. Ron?
Mark and Dick, there were several points in the game when I thought Danny Ainge came in and really gave the Portland Trail Blazers a lift, and we gave him our best hustle award for tonight. There was a point when Ainge came in, grabbed a loose ball, saved it from going out of bounds, crashed into an NBC cameraman, managed to get the ball back out to Clyde. Couple of passes later, the Blazers had 2 more points, and it really was a point where they were picked up by Danny Ainge. Also tonight, you may notice that NBC had another look-alike winner in the Cliff Robinson, the Uncle Cliffy look-alike contest. Cliffy with that familiar red sweatband around his head. And then, of course, here's the winner of the Uncle Cliffy look-alike contest. Quite a Portland fan, and plenty of reason to be cheering tonight. We'll have more news from Chicago and more from the game site here in Portland when we continue in a moment.
And Jordan able to penetrate, sets up Grant. Bulls
is up to Ron.
Carol, we can take a quick look at what we have chosen to call the fooled you defensive play of the night. It was Scottie Pippen Clyde Drexler on the drive. Scotty, instead of stepping up and bumping him, as Clyde was expecting, stepped aside, let him by. Clyde crashes, Scotty looks good, and it looked like the Bulls were in control at that moment, but it just was not to be. By the way, Chicago Stadium fans, you are the winners. We rang up the fanometer for the introductions of the Portland Trail Blazers tonight inside the Memorial Coliseum. They failed to pin the peg. The noise at Chicago Stadium, at least for the introductions, was the way we heard it, was much noisier for the last game at the stadium, although I must also tell you that by the end of the game tonight, the Portland Trail Blazers fans were doing just fine. Thank you. Carol and Joan.
All right, Ron, thanks. Ahead on our Health Watch report, another warning about
game and having the momentum to go into that fourth quarter. We just didn't execute down the stretch well. Portland played very good defense against us, and we came up with a cold hand. I think that, you know, it tells something about this series, that this series is going to go on here. It's going to go on back to Chicago, and they've extended it, and we definitely going to have to come back on Friday and play with more determination. I think that the defenses are playing very, very well, and aggression is tremendous out there, intensity level, as it should be. I thought that this game had a few turning points in it, missed free throws for us, second opportunities for them in the paint, and you know, gave them an opportunity to get back into this game from that.
What happened in the last 5 minutes? Get tired, fatigue,
I think that our execution was poor down the stretch. I think we had a pretty good opportunities. We had some good shots in that period. I thought Michael had 2 point-blank shots that rolled in and out. And, you know, Robinson made a great block on Horace Grant. I thought that was a great defensive play that took a momentum away from us at that time. And Pippen missed a couple free throws that also took the lead away from us and gave them an opportunity. And the second opportunity they got off 2 missed free throws gave them that 1-point edge that they eventually went up by a point later on in the next opportunity down the floor. Those are little turning points, I thought, that put the momentum in their end of the corner.
Well, a dejected Phil Jackson talking about a disappointing loss tonight. We'll go back out to Portland as things happen, but now let's get back.
We've already had the highlights. It's time to go on and look a little more closely at this game.
Yeah, once again, the Bulls playing that Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde role, and tonight down the stretch, blew up and fell apart. Early on, it looked easy, then it got scary, and finally for the Bulls, this one got away. Portland in desperate need of a victory, and that's exactly what they get. But this one, all Chicago early on. First quarter, Scotty with a nice fake and drive. Bulls open up on a 10-0 run. Michael also doing his thing, floating and sticking the jumper. Bulls by 6. Later, Clyde Drexler slips behind everyone and lays in the alley-oop. 48-45 Bulls at the break. But Chicago could not put it out of reach. The Blazers charge back. Drexler starts the transition with a steal and gets the payoff at the other end. Portland in front for the first time, leading by 1 in the fourth quarter. The monumental comeback breaks the Bulls. Blazers win it 93-88. Mark Giangreco was there from start to finish. We go live to Portland for the report. Mark?
All right, John. Well, as you might expect, Phil Jackson kept the locker room door closed for quite a while. Little lecture to the players, and then when that door opened, most of the players showered quickly, and vamoosed and got in that bus. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to think about it. But before they got out of there, they did have a few interesting things to say.
I thought we kind of gave it away to the extent that we had the game under control. They never led until the fourth quarter, and it was our game for the taking, and we just couldn't get the last 6 minutes done.
Well, now you got to go out and win another one. I mean, the series is far from over, so it's the best 2 out of 3 now, and you know, we worry about Friday night. We played well enough to win this game, but we just we didn't execute offensively down the stretch. They seemed to end up at the foul line the whole time in the fourth quarter.
They are tied 2-2. It is a brand new series. Look at it this way, John. They can clinch it at the stadium now. And I'll tell you, they haven't had a celebration in Chicago since the White Sox won the division in 1983. So that's thinking on the positive side. Let's go to Michael Jordan now, who's just stepped up to the podium.
Beat us at our game? Yeah, I felt they did play solid defense down the stretch. You have to give them credit. You know, they held together, they maintained their poise. We kind of got a little flustered, turned the ball over more than necessary down the stretch. And on the road, you got to finish the game a lot stronger. You got to take care of the basketballs. You got to take good shots. You know, we failed to do that down the stretch. Although we played a good 42 minutes, the last 6 minutes we really didn't execute properly. I was very heated. I wasn't heated. More or less, I was just trying to explain the situation. Maybe my expressions will seem to be a little heated, but I was just more or less trying to motivate, trying to keep their minds into the game, trying to focus in on what we had to do to win this game. And you know, but it wasn't like yelling and bawling them out. You know, basically, I was just trying to keep their heads straight and focusing on what we were trying to do. And this game meant a lot in the sense that, you know, we could have put them in a deeper hole.
Michael, this team has never been in this situation before in the final. Last year you went through after losing the first game, but now it comes down to a 3-game series. Does this team have enough to win 2 games?
Do we have a choice? I mean, if we want it bad enough, you're going to have to play a lot better and finish off what we actually started. So, you know, we really got another opportunity to win another game here and go back to Chicago, you know, 3-2. No one said it was going to be easy. You know, last year we had total control after the 4th game, and you know, things were a little easier. But when you're trying to do something twice, it's not going to be quite as easy. But as long as you maintain that focus and the determination to achieve that ultimate goal, who cares how many games it takes? You know, and that's the important emphasis right now, is that, okay, we're 2-2 now. It's a 3-game series. Do we still want it bad enough? Do we still want to win? You know, and we know we got 1 game here, 2 games in Chicago, but that's not something to rely upon. You got to come out and play hard for the next 3 games.
Michael, you scored last 10 minutes. Okay, Michael Jordan commenting on a very tough loss to the Blazers, one that simply got away. Moving to hockey, instead of interviewing
At this time, so that we may bring you exclusive coverage of the NBA Finals.